Welcome to our year-end wrap-up. So, what could possibly connect a souped-up immune system in a mouse, an ancient shark fossil, and, get this, the exact time of day on Mars? As 2025 draws to a close, we're going to pull on the hidden threads that link this year's most amazing scientific breakthroughs.
You know, when you look at all these different fields, a few really powerful truths just pop out. We learned that we can actually rewrite the rules of our own biology. We got a totally new perspective on our planet's incredible ability to bounce back. And we saw a revolution in the very tools we use to ask the big questions. First up, rejuvenate. We're talking about our own health here, where scientists made some incredible leaps, finding ways to not just slow down aging, but to actually turn back the clock on some of our most basic biological systems.
Then, recover. We're going to look way back in time, and you'll see how we discovered just how tough life on Earth really is. It completely rewrites the story of how our planet came back from the brink after an event that nearly wiped out all life in the oceans.
And that brings us to revolutionize, because we're going to see how a powerful new tool, artificial intelligence, is becoming the engine driving everything forward, changing the speed of discovery itself. So let's kick things off with our own biology.
All right, our journey begins right inside of us, at the cellular level. This is where scientists are finding these incredible new ways to repair and fine-tune the very systems that keep us going.
So one of the toughest parts about getting older, right, is that our immune system just kind of runs out of steam. The little factory that builds our frontline defenders, these cells called T cells, it's an organ called the thymus, and over time it just sort of closes up shop, leaving us more vulnerable to all sorts of things.
Okay, this is where things get really cool. Researchers at MIT didn't even try to fix the broken factory. Instead, they used mRNA tech to teach a totally different organ, the liver, how to do the thymus's job. They essentially turned the liver into a pop-up training camp for T cells. And it worked. They got the production of these critical immune cells going again in older mice.
And this idea of precision, it even applies to something as simple as taking your vitamins. For years, it's been a puzzle. Why do some people take vitamin D supplements and nothing happens? Well, it turns out the answer might not be in the vitamin itself, but in a mineral you already know, magnesium.
A really fascinating trial from Vanderbilt showed that magnesium basically acts like a thermostat for vitamin D. As you can see here, if your levels are too low, magnesium helps your body make more. But, and this is the key, if your levels get too high, it helps bring them back down. It makes sure you always have the right amount.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit. Because it turns out this new level of precision we're seeing in our own bodies, it's also happening in how we see our planet. From our inner world to the global one, 2025 gave us some incredible new clarity.
Okay, picture this. 252 million years ago, the Great Dying happens. It's the worst mass extinction in Earth's history. It practically sterilized the oceans. The biggest question has always been, how long did it take for the seas to finally come back to life? For decades, the textbook answer was a long time, like 8 million years or more. But a massive fossil bed found on the Arctic island of Spitsbergen has just completely flipped the script. This place was a treasure trove, and it showed that just 3 million years after the extinction, a complex food web was already back in business, full of sharks, fish, and giant marine reptiles.
I mean, think about that. Just 3 million years. It's an absolutely incredible story of resilience. But, and this is a big but, that amazing story from the past is a pretty stark contrast to what's happening in that same part of the world right now.
So here's what's happening in the Arctic today. Researchers have found this really dangerous feedback loop. It starts when cracks open in the sea ice. Heat escapes and forms clouds. Those clouds then act like a blanket, trapping more heat, which, you guessed it, melts more ice and creates even more cracks. It's a dangerous cycle that just keeps feeding itself.
All right, let's zoom out one more time, way out, from our planet to our next-door neighbor, Mars, because a tiny, tiny measurement there has huge implications for our future.
Get this number, 477. That's how many microseconds faster a clock on Mars ticks every single day compared to here on Earth. It's all because of Einstein's general relativity and Mars having weaker gravity. Just 477 millionths of a second, but it makes all the difference.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, 477 microseconds? Who cares? It's less than a blink of an eye. But here's the thing. It matters. A lot. Without factoring in that tiny difference, our technology, things like GPS or any advanced communications, would just plain fail.
And you can see here, this effect is way bigger on Mars than it is on the Moon.
Getting this number exactly right isn't just a fun fact for physicists, it's literally the groundwork for building things like a future GPS on Mars, or even a solar system-wide internet.
Okay, so you might have noticed a common thread running through a lot of these stories, and that thread is artificial intelligence. It's popping up everywhere, and it's basically hitting the accelerator on discovery in every single field.
Let's take multiple sclerosis, for example. Doctors usually have to wait for symptoms to show up to figure out what's going on. But now, using AI, researchers can analyze brain scans and blood tests and find 2 different types of MS before the major symptoms even start. This is a total game changer. It means they can identify who's at a higher risk and treat them much more effectively, right from the beginning.
And this whole idea is leading to this kind of incredible new concept, pharmaceutical superintelligence. It's basically the dream of a fully automated AI that can do everything, from finding what causes a disease to designing a brand new drug to fix it.
And believe it or not, this isn't some far-off sci-fi idea. Just this year, a company built entirely around this concept, In Silico Medicine, had a massive IPO. Their CEO said it best. They're proving AI can make drug discovery faster, cheaper, and more successful, all to help us live longer, healthier lives.
So, wow, what a year. When you step back and look at it, we've gone from the tiniest processes inside our own cells, all the way to how time itself works on another planet. We've seen these themes of rejuvenating our bodies, understanding our planet's recovery, and just revolutionizing everything with new tools. And it all leads to this one big kind of mind-blowing thought for the new year. With AI speeding everything up so fast, are we heading into a new age where the only thing holding back science is the boldness of the questions we're willing to ask? It's something to think about. Thanks for watching.